Welcome to my channel. Please click like, share, and subscribe. Please excuse my voice as well because I was out last night doing a lot of screaming and yelling, so I'm a little bit hoarse. But I woke up this morning and I had a little notification on my YouTube regarding Wack 100 and Cuban Linx, and that they had a little disagreement or whatever. I listened to a piece of it. I didn't to all of it. But as I was listening to it, I noticed that Cuban Linx had the same disagreement with Wack 100 that Mimo 600 had with them. They talked about possibly getting some type of deal going for music. Discussed it. Nothing was written in stone. But when Cuban Linx kept coming back and checking with him, he was getting no response. He said 3 or 4 months. I remember Mimo was like a month or a week. I don't know. But what I'm saying is these confrontations could be avoided with just simple words. Okay, Wack, you say to them, okay, I'm going to see what I can do for you, but I got a lot on my plate. I'll jump from one thing to the next. I'll holler at you when I know something. It might take a while. And that would avoid all the rest of the controversy, unless they still keep trying to contact Wack 100, like what's going on, after he told them, give me some time, I'm going to work on something, I'll keep you in mind. And then probably the person would shoot him a text here and there, I'm still, waiting for your response or something to that effect, just letting Wack 100 know that they're still interested. And it's a way to communicate with each other, family. Like, just because, we're off the streets or whatever we are, we were a part of the streets and now we do business. If you're doing business now, you can't use street tactics in business. To a certain degree, you cannot. If you're going to communicate with someone, these are men that this is their livelihood. They want to know if you're an option or not. So they try to get back with you when you tell them something or you show some type of interest towards them and you have certain ties to the industry where you might open some doors. Yeah, the brothers is going to be contacting you, but when you're putting them down and making it look like they're thirsty, and stuff like that in front of the public, they're going to respond. And as a result of that, what happened with Hassan and Wack 100, I could see why maybe Hassan was like, if I'm going to deal with him, I may have to protect myself because there's been so many instances where someone was talking to Wack and it turned into a big fight and you said this and I said that. So maybe that's why he recorded the conversation. Why he decided to release it, that's his own personal thing he has within him, but I could see why he recorded it. I've seen several instances on Clubhouse where, people use whatever they can against each other and just embarrass people. And Wack 100 was the king of that. He would find your name, buy your name, find stories about you. Somebody, they have something on you. Or I never understood what that purpose was. But I guess Wack does. That's the way he moves. But as a result of people doing what they do, there's always going to be some type of reaction or effect that comes from there. And 90% of the time, it's not going to be positive. So maybe if we learned how to communicate with each other a little bit more respectfully, these type of things could be avoided. As far as Lil J, I could tell that he sat in there and he had his plans written down or planned everything out. He used that time to benefit him. So he comes home and he's just blowing up overnight. 4 days in, he drops a video. It goes to almost 2 million in 2 days, 3 days. That's amazing. That's amazing, and that's an accomplishment. He was trending number 4 on YouTube with no mainstream backing. That's to be commended. As far as the dissing, I kind of understand why Lil J feels this way. Because while he was in jail for 7 years, he lost a lot of friends. His mom has got locked up. He went through a lot. So yes, he's going to come out of jail with a few things he has to say. Now, if he's dissing a year or two from now, you know, that would be kind of overkill. But for now, with his first 2 songs or 3, 4 songs, or his first album even, he's going to be expressing himself, whereas he couldn't before he was locked up. But I would like to see a little bit more respect between these young men and these older men with each other. And, you know, young men with young men and grown men with grown men. I know that we all, you know, seem to be fighting for the scraps out here. The money's been taken off the streets. We used to have alternatives where, you know, there were several different ways to make money without having to compromise yourself in any way. But those options have been removed off the streets. Even numbers, you got Lotto now, you know. Weed, they legalized weed. Now they have dispensaries. So those little things like on the street where you can make your little odds and ends is now becoming more obsolete. And the way to get a bag, one of the ways that's most common and most accessible is to get into the industry somehow. And that has turned into the bag. So you got people compromising themselves, and you have people in position or taking advantage of that to make others feel less than. And this is, you know, what it turned into. Because you're luring these kids into the industry. No one's really giving them any type of guidance. And I have to also mention to the audience that you're the one that controls the content. The audience controls the content. We all want to see a success story. We enjoy success stories. Mike Tyson coming home and getting his belt back. You know, the Slick Rick coming home and dropping an album after being gone for 10 years. Tupac coming home, dropping California Love. This is in the same vein of that. It's just that the content now has become more violent. And it's sort of corresponding with real street activities. And that's the way the energy went. But you as an audience need to know that you don't have to mimic anybody else's story. These guys are telling their stories. And that doesn't mean that you have to follow and turn their life experiences into yours. You have your own life experience. You have your own path. And the most wise thing to do, because we have to play chess out here, gang. The most wise thing to do is, how you really, really learn is to watch other people's mistakes. You don't necessarily have to go through it yourself. It's the ego that gets in the way and says, well, I would have played it like this, or I would have played it like that. But you never really understand until you're in someone else's shoes. I put myself in Little J's shoes. And I believe if I came home after 7 years and all of that stuff was transpiring while I was locked up, I would have a few things to say. But I think eventually my content would change as I got acclimated into being back in the free world and addressing those concerns I had before that I needed to get off my chest. The audience, you guys, you participants, you supporters. Some people say you're fans, but I would say you're supporters. I know that you're just as excited as I am with the success that Lil J is enjoying now, I see there's a lot of jealousy and envy coming towards him as well. I don't care what nobody says, that's what it is. It's jealousy and it's envy. Because I feel like if Lil J would have flopped, it would have been a whole lot of discussions about him being a flop. But I don't see any discussions about him coming out and taking over the industry overnight. And that's what happened. That's what happened. I see him discussing and releasing all the things that he probably couldn't do when he was locked up. And it turned into a work of art. His team is excellent. His team is excellent. And I hope that he sticks with that team throughout the duration of his career. Because they was on the money. They was on point. They're on point. Keep moving how you moving. And when Lil J does get the control that he might need to manifest whatever music he feels what direction he wants to go in musically, he'll be able to do so. But unfortunately, to kick down the door, you gotta give the audience what they want. I even noticed that with my channel. If I post something from drill, it gets thousands of views. But if I just talk about regular everyday things or other matters, it doesn't get the attention that gets of talking about drill. So they may have to come through the door doing this, just like a lot of bloggers have to come through the door, discussing matters that's detrimental to the psyche of our children, but they got to do it so they can make their money. And once they get to a certain position, they can do what they want to do. But they'll always be forced to satisfy their audience. So, you can mix and match, though. You don't have to just be on one thing to make your money or to do what you need to do or to be successful. You can also mix the medicine with the food. So, I feel a lot more proud of the audience than I did before, because the reception that Lil J got, I think within everybody, they wanted to see a success story coming from Duck, because Duck was almost there. And it looks like Lil J, he passed Lil J the baton, and Lil J just ran with it the way we would want someone to run with it. Not too many people stepped up after Duck died and gave us the energy that we wanted. Those of us that liked Duck and wanted to see him win. We didn't see the energy we wanted when he passed away until Fendi came out with his song. But after that was satisfied by the audience, they didn't want to keep hearing that diss stuff. They want to see who you are as an artist as well. And even if you are a diss rapper, if you don't have no skills, you're not going to get the acceptance or the buzz that you expect, because you're just rapping, you're just talking. You're not. Every rapper is not a talented rapper. Some people are naturally talented, and it's going to show, no matter what they say in their song. It's unfortunate that Duck's friends wasn't a little bit more closer, and we're seeing all of this beef in between the camp and separation, because a lot of people wanted to see all of y'all win together. They may not say that, but that's the way they feel. You can tell by the results. So I'm just saying all of this to say, if you're a rapper coming out of Chicago right now, you should be proud of Lil J. Y'all have another chance to take over. And after all that's happened and after all that's been lost on both sides, what are y'all going to do with this energy? Are y'all going to continue on the way that you're on the road, the path y'all was before? Or are y'all going to take up this second chance and switch this shit around? I would like to see y'all switch it around. Because I want to see what the youth really have to say from their heart. Lil J did this, and this takeover, he didn't have not a stitch of jewelry on, no guns, no props, no females. It's just raw talent. Raw talent. Tap into your raw talent and see what you could do. You won't need none of those props to be successful. Because raw talent is all you need. Sometimes people need those props, those extra things to make them seem like they're standing out, because they're not really as talented as a natural talented person is. But when you see somebody come out, you didn't have on a stitch of jewelry, you didn't have no guns, you didn't have 30 dudes behind him, he didn't have no females, there was no ass being shown in him. It's just raw talent. This is raw talent. So enjoy that and let that motivate you in whatever it is that you do. Because after you fall, you can rise up again, and you can you can be what you need to be. You can be successful. But once you get that success, be responsible with it. Especially the youth. Be responsible and be careful what you're putting out there, because you are a part of shaping and molding the minds of the youth. Whether you know it or not, or whether you care or not, you are. So peace and love. I just wanted to drop that real quick. And have a blessed day.